Hello and welcome to the Sharon Partners Investment Market Update for the March quarter of 2022. I'm Kim Hope and I'm joined as always by Steve, our Independent Investment Committee member. Steve, all we're hearing about at the moment is inflation, interest rates, and of course the war in the Ukraine. How's that playing out around Australian markets?
Yeah, thanks, Kim. It has been a roller coaster of a ride in the Australian market, and it's all got to do with what you just mentioned. Start of the quarter, markets really came off, really into correction territory. That's where they fall by more than 10%, and that was all got to do with inflation expectations. But then they picked up a little bit, as you can see, and then, of course, Russia went into Ukraine, and that put the markets down again. And then in March the 16th, the US put up their interest rates, which was kind of widely feared, but what happens? The market went up. In fact, markets around the world all went up ever since those interest rate announcements got made. And so Australia's finished the quarter up a positive 2.2%, which is a pretty good result, given that January was the worst January since 2008.
And so how has that played out then internationally?
So that's a good question, because it really is a tale of two different cities here, or four different countries. If you look at Australia in this graph, up by 2.2%, everyone else is negative. But the reason why Australia is positive, Kim, is really because our market's made up of materials and financials. They're our two biggest sectors. And with the rise in interest rates, or expected rise in interest rates, that's good for banks. And with the inflation really affecting energy prices and commodities, that's some of the big inputs into the inflation you're seeing around the petrol pump, that's good for the materials sector. So Australia, being the lucky country, is really benefiting from the rise in interest rates and at least from the commodity prices.
I think we certainly are the lucky country, Steve. The other big topic of conversation has been around bond markets. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, Kim, if the equity market was a roller coaster, then the bond market has been the tower of terror. It's just one way down. And you can see on the chart here those negative quarters of bond returns down the bottom. Kim, I hate to say it, it has been the worst quarter of bond returns on record. And you can see why this has come about. If you look at the top line, that is the Australian government 10-year yields. Now, we don't really look at this very often, but what the yield is, it's the bond market pricing in everything they expect about future inflation and future interest rates and future employment. And you can see that rising rapidly over the last 6 months. And when yields go up, bond prices go down. So again, the negative bond prices are a direct result of at least interest rate expectations and inflation expectations.
So then, Steve, if we're expecting that interest rates are going to increase, should we also expect that bond prices will continue to go down?
Yeah, that is a great question, Kim. But given those yields have already priced in the expectation of higher interest rates and in fact higher inflation, higher than it is right now, then when interest rates do actually go up, and we do know interest rates are going up, when interest rates go up, I wouldn't expect that to affect the bond market because it's already priced in those higher rates. Of course, we don't know what's in the future. Yields can go up, but yields could also go down from here.
That crystal ball would really come in handy, wouldn't it, Steve?
So good.
And of course, at Sharon Partners, our investment philosophy is always to make sure that you maintain a well-diversified portfolio, no matter what happens in our future. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next quarter.